Hello everybody, this is PsySpy, and it looks like the stream is now going. This is wonderful. There's one less thing for me to not worry about. Okay, so we're going to go down here and minimize this. I hope you can hear me alright, Hector, since I know you're probably the only one that's going to be in this stream, besides Flame if he shows up. Almost nobody else watches this series, so yeah. Oh, Mountain Dew, obviously. Gotta have my caffeines. And none of that diet shit because I'm fat, but I'm not a diabetic. Well, shit. I actually need to leave after this stream to go get some more vape juice because I am out. Diet A&W root beer. Well, I don't think Diet root beer is that bad. There are some diets that aren't that bad because I'll do Diet Dr. Pepper once in a while. It's just Diet Mountain Dew does not taste right. Okay, so let's get back in here. Where did we stop? Okay, we're at the 2 hour and 50-minute mark for gameplay. Anumi, Kyla, and Asheron. He's really cute though. Asheron seems to be doing his job. I have 2 true ending flags, whatever those are. I don't know what the true ending in this game is, but I personally do not really care because this is just a playthrough to hopefully get it over with and done and get it out because you seem to want it out more than Flame does. So let's go ahead and that one, load, yes. At the convention center, but as soon as we take some steps, the media is upon us. They're countless in their numbers. It appears as if they're trying to block our entry. They hold their microphones out, wanting answers. It's the Lucky 2. Hey, I remember this guy. He's the guy that reported on the death of Place. Hey, it's a news reporter from last night. He's the one that reported on the death of Clace. Hey, I just said that! Contest winners, we need to talk. There are some allegations going around. They say this is just for publicity. Devin, do not engage the press. They will try to scare you into talking. But legally, they can't get in our way. Just keep walking in their move. That is, if they want to keep their careers. He glares at Fukumoto as he says those last few words. Perhaps I'll ask again later. He slowly backs away and blends into the crowd. Asheron must have intimidated him into submission. But it was for the best and I'm thankful. Wouldn't have known what to do on my own. Follow me and do not engage. Singe will tell you the truth of things. And you do not want to say something stupid. I nod as I find his counsel invaluable. We keep walking, and I make sure Kyla is in tow. Anubis is following us as well, completely unfazed. He must be used to the limelight by now. Being Clace's brother, he'd get lots of attention. I look back at the limo. A large crowd blocks Jade's attempts to leave. I feel sorry for her. She's stuck with the press. Not used to all these eyes on you, eh? Not at all. As soon as he says that, it hits me, and a sense of anxiety starts to rise within me, as if I was being watched. It could be anybody here. I ask him if we could walk faster, but then I get another text message. I pull up my phone with extreme apprehension. I'm unable to stay calm. I'm unable to display a calm composure. I'm sure I could play it off for fear of the crowd. Asheron has no idea what's happening on my end. Worried, aren't you? Good. Okay, now it's very clear that I'm being followed. And they're close enough to see my worry as well. I scan my surroundings, but everyone is watching me. They certainly picked the perfect time to watch. Never be able to tell who it was to the crowd. I start to panic and cling even closer to Asheron. I give him a gentle nudge, pushing him to move faster. He seems to take my signal and thankfully obeys. It isn't much longer until we get inside. We're promptly greeted by the illusion of safety. I take a large breath as soon as we get inside. For some reason it feels like I'm safe. It's odd how one door can make such a difference. Numi scurries away as soon as we get inside. The windows are dim, so it's not too bright, but this bodes well for someone in my situation. If I was being watched, I couldn't do it now. I stand relieved in the lobby with Asheron and Kyla. You did a good job out there. You are overwhelmed, but that's normal. You handled yourselves admirably. Thanks. If only he knew I was actually worried. Actually, perhaps I should tell him. He'd be the last person I want to hide this from, and he'd probably know exactly how to respond. Wait until I can talk to him in private. I want you two to wait right here. I'll go find out where Singe is. Do me a favor and don't wander. He walks towards what I assume is the reception desk. I turn to Kyla and ask her if she's okay. So far it's been impossible to get a read on her. I know it's prone to zoning out, but this is unreal. I'm good, just overwhelmed. I mean, what are the odds of this? Nothing has gone our way since we got here. We'll get involved with the media now. They'll probably even dig up our past. I'm not really cool with that, Devin. Luck is definitely not on our side. He was right. This is supposed to be luxurious. Our every dream was expected to become reality. Saying this hasn't happened is an understatement. It went south in almost every way imaginable. I tell Kyla. I still don't know how I want to pronounce it, Kyla or Kyla. Everything will be okay. Although I don't know who I'm trying to convince. There's a lot more on my plate. It's the fate of Terra. So I simply say we should wait to talk to Singe. Yeah, you're right. I turn away and start to inspect the lobby. It's rather massive. It doesn't look really foreign at all. In fact, it makes me feel at home. Very modern. I don't stray away at Asheron's behest. Instead, I look at the TVs attached to the wall. They're all playing a news report recorded earlier. It must be a story of interest to Tokyo citizens. Okay, sure. Give me a second. Okay, I just turned it down to 50%. Because the endgame sound is at 40%, and it's still blaring over me, so I turned the speaker side, or the streamer side, down to about 50%. See, is that any better? I usually have it about 25%. And I have it at 100 because I was testing it out, and I could hear myself over it then. And now I have it at 25% just to make sure. As a few moments pass, I realize that it's true, but it happens to be of great interest to me as well. Hello, Fukumoto here. I've been lucky enough to snag an interview right here on the streets of Akihabara. Well, now there is. This is very spontaneous, people. Sorry for any background noise, but I think you'll enjoy our guest. This guy seems to get around. Do you know the news reporters in Japan? She arrived in Tokyo a few weeks ago, but she's been under scrutiny ever since. Well, we're here for the real story. And we'll get it from the woman herself. Everybody welcome Maxine Armstrong, the CEO of Armstrong Incorporated. Well, there's Maxine. It's my pleasure to be here, Fukumoto-san. It's that woman I ran into multiple times. I didn't think she was special enough for her own report. For those who do not know, Maxine came... Please call me Max. Very well, Max. Came here from the United States, but nobody knows the real reason why. This has made a lot of people uneasy given the nature of your business. Chemical and explosive weaponry, right? Some would say you deal in war. Well, the Japanese fox is kitsune, so yeah. But they do have a rather large fox population in Japan. That's actually incorrect, Fukumoto. Armstrong Incorporated desires protection. We sell an item that is useless on its own. Our products are a security measure. And their other use is the buyer's fault. We provide a means, not anything else. We have a very thorough selection process. Clients are all given mental health exams. We ensure that the client is fit, you see. The tabloids are always exaggerating things, but you're no stranger to all that yourself. I want protection for everyone, not war. Many of our clients are government suits, but celebrities are within our realm too. If a weapon goes off, it is only to protect. It's easy to make it sound like I'm bad, but the weapons I sell guarantee safety. It's not my fault if they are misused. Oh, I see. Thanks for explaining. This is an admirable mission statement. Your parents would be proud of you, Max. And you understand the unease? Some people are scared of your presence. Well, how am I supposed to know that, Hector? Especially since you're keeping secrets. But now, Japan is your audience. Do you have anything to say? Something to put us at ease? Unfortunately, I do not. Our purpose here is confidential. However, no harm will come to you or your citizens. My presence here should put you at ease. I offer the most advanced products imaginable. Possible. I could even stop these midnight deaths. There you have it, folks. Max is here to stop the murders. An amazing goal. Bravo, Max. That's not what I said. That's all I have time for today. But rest easy, we're all safe. Armstrong is here for a noble purpose. This is Fukumoto signing off. Okay, I dislike him now. Well, that was pretty heavy. There we go. I've heard of Armstrong Incorporated before, but this is my first time hearing about its owner. I never would have thought it was her. I have to talk to her about it if I see her again. She did express interest in getting to know me better. I see Asheron is on his way back. Hopefully now we get to meet with Singe. I was dying to hear an official statement about this. I'll wait our next move as I walk towards my friends. Hey, thanks for staying put, you two. The conference won't stop for a while yet, so we can go and pass time upstairs. Renting this place must be expensive. Singe's pockets go pretty deep, it seems. Well, anyway, I guess we should go. Those people outside are really loud. A headache is the last thing I want. It should be more quiet upstairs. He starts walking us towards the stairs. Me and Kata follow him without question. I guess it was almost instinctual. If he was our protection, we'd need to stay close. And that's what we did as we ascended the stairs. We leave the frenzy of the media behind us, but unfortunately not for good. It was quieter up here like Asheron had hoped. He pressed his back against the wall and watches up. Then he scouts around looking from left to right. He definitely has a good vantage point from here. Kyle leaves my side as well and tries to find his seat. Eventually he situates himself in a nice leather chair. I see a lot of familiar faces around this room. Rook is using his tablet and Anumi is pacing around. Then I see some not so familiar faces. although I felt like I recognized them from TV. It's almost like everyone important to Clace is here. Maybe they were just as clueless as I was about this. I guess I wasn't the only one who wanted some answers. It isn't long before Rook looks up from his tablet. He notices me and starts to walk in my direction. I wonder how he was handling all of this. Hey Devin, nice to see you made it. I'm assuming the new guy is Acheron? Too bad the last guard just ran off. Ran off? What does he mean by that? Anyway, no beating around the bush. You're here, so you must know the truth. Last night, Clace was murdered. He says it in such an emotionless way. It's hard for me to tell if it has even bothered him. Instead of prying, I tell him that I did know the truth. I saw Fukumoto reporting live on TV past midnight. Oh, Fukumoto, I hate that guy. He stretches the truth almost every time. You're like Red, you're a communist. You have no idea how he got that job. He twists the words like the tabloids. I'm surprised he works at a real station. This is true, I did see his interview with Max. I'd like to know that he tried to interview me as well. He mentioned that this is all publicity stunt. Of course he mentioned that. Listen, don't take him seriously. He learned that pretty quickly in Tokyo. The general population loves him. Honestly, I'm not able to see why. He's just a sham, a sensationalist. It was harshly worded, but some wisdom. Since it's just getting ready, it shouldn't be much longer. Maybe you should get to know the crew. Everyone is still shocked, of course, but some friendship might help them. Uniting is what we need to do now. Bert turns his head and notices someone approaching. It's a fox with a guitar, and he steps with purpose. I guess Rocker is a fine place to start. He's definitely a knowledgeable man. Wait, a compliment from Rook? Wow, must be my birthday. Don't flatter yourself. Hey, you're the one that said it. He bows to Rook with as a gesture of respect. Then he says the same to me, wearing a large smile. Sorry, I'm not one for shaking hands, but with much respect, it is my pleasure. I'm Rocker, nice to meet you, Devin. I hesitantly give him a bow and introduce myself too. Oh my, I say ki... Psy-K-Ri? 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 Devin, I don't deserve that. Come on, Rocker, not right now. No need to make his day any worse. This is very important, though. Devin, that was an incorrect bow. You went far too low just now. A bow like that is for an apology, or for addressing someone of status. I mean, exceptionally high status. Furthermore, your back was bent as well. You should always try to keep it straight. A crooked bow could be seen as disrespectful. Try to remember this simple fact. To most, a 15-degree bow is fine. Around here it's called an eshaku. It's meant for equals. I don't mean to rag on you, but I hate for you to offend someone. Well, this is my signal to leave. I don't need one of your famous lectures. I've heard way too much about Japan now. Rook gave a very quick and low bow, as if to mock the entire lesson Rocker just gave. I'm surprised he didn't scare you away. If I were you, I would have run. He could be really rude without knowing it. He thinks he's joking or something, but always comes off as crass. He's not the best at social interaction. Regardless of my feelings about Rook, it was true. In fact, Rocker's lesson was refreshing. He did it to legitimately inform me about bows, not to judge me or berate me like Rook would always do. I'll thank him and try giving him the bow he explained, 15 degrees with a straight back. You catch on fast, I like that. We go along fine, Devin. I know we have spare time before the speech. If you want to hang out, feel free. Of course, you'll be meeting Shock too. When he says the name Shock, it all becomes clear. Shock and Rocker were Clace's lead guitarists. They performed some of the most legendary solos. I'm so shocked that he's walked away almost in disbelief. I've heard lots of their music, and it was awesome. But here he was talking to me so casually. If I knew who he was at first, I would have panicked. Both Rocker and Rook had a very good point. I had some time to waste before Cinch's speech began. There are so many interesting people up here. I'd love to get to know each and every one of them. Well, I already knew Rook and Kylo good enough, but Asheron was so mystery as was Inumi, and Shock and Rocker were quite enticing as well. Hanging out with a Rockstar duo would be awesome. Unfortunately, I couldn't hang out with all of them. I stay in place, contemplating my next actions. Alright, let's go ahead and save here. Since this is a live stream, it makes it a little bit easier to say, oh, it's still working. You know. Okay, let me take a drink real quick. My mouth's getting a little dry. And we're only 20 minutes in. Bleh. Okay. And there we go. Who should I hang out with to pass the time? I think it gives you a save point every time you get a choice to make a decision. Asheron or Shock and Rocker? So should I hang out with the security or should I hang out with the rock stars? Okay, since Hector is kind of... Okay, there you go. I thought you were away, so I wasn't sure. Might as well hang out with the Rockstars then. I said go spend some time with Shock and Rocker. This is what I want for the contest after all, the ability to spend time with celebrities, even though the situation was less than ideal. I would actually like to hear what they have to say. They were certainly close to Clace. Rocco seems like he was holding up okay, but I'm wondering how Shock was taking this. I was also hoping that it might play me some songs, but given the circumstances, I highly doubt it. As I walk towards him, I make eye contact with Asheron. He nods at me before resuming his lookout. It isn't long before I make it to Shock and Rocker. However, I seem to have protruded upon an argument. Oh, perhaps I could have picked a better time. You're talking nonsense, Rocker. Why don't you think before you speak? No offense, but it makes you look stupid. It makes perfect sense, man. You're just too daft to understand. You're calling me stupid? No more than you've already done to me. Humph, you should know how smart I am. Texas lead guitarist can't be dumb. It takes a certain level of intelligence. But I'm a lead guitarist, not you. They both take deep breaths and turn to greet me. So you're the fanboy, right? Shock, they're not a fanboy. They're our honored guest. Yeah, right. How much did you spend on Popstar? You must be quite the rabid fan. Look at all that blind devotion. Shock, don't be rude. It's true when you think about it, Rocker. We earned our spot beside Clace, right? We didn't buy a red carpet to walk on. Clace was a person like anyone else. You can't buy his attention, Devin. Well, you do make a good point, Shock. I apologize on his behalf, however. He's prone to believing he's always right. This is what he really meant to say. He appreciates your devotion to Clace. Him and Shock were childhood friends. Childhood friends? I guess it goes deeper than I thought. Shock doesn't seem to be too affected by the murder. In fact, he just seems like an all-around jerk. And I also apologize for my own actions. You walked in on an argument between us. It's rare that I get heated up. It's true, Rocker isn't the one for arguing. Hearing him raise his voice is rare. In fact, I forgot what our fight was about. We were talking about living on after death. Specifically, how I think it's possible. You mean like zombies? No, Shock, not like zombies. Let me explain it this way. Maybe we can convince Devin. Great, I love hearing things twice. Yeah, I think Shock's a little bit of a jerk. Well, if you let me begin, there's no need to be a jerk about it. Alright, go on then. Well, I know Clace is gone and all, but it's possible for him to live on, especially in his possessions and art. Shock seems to say that death is final. A little hypocritical if you ask me. He's been checking pop stars all day. Sales of those are likely going to inflate, not for the reason we would have done, of course. Starts giving out a lot of post-image coverage. It's childish to think Clace is gone. He will live on in so many ways. I disagree entirely. Clace is gone for sure. All of that stuff is superficial. Then what about his albums? People will be buying them in droves. Previously recorded albums, you mean? Clace will never sing live again. All that's left is memories of the past. But you can live on in a memory. That's what I'm trying to say. No, you can't. That's stupid, Rocker. A memory will never replace his voice. It's a mockery of what we've lost. If you really think memory survives, then you weren't close to him at all. Nothing can replace the real thing. That's not what I meant at all. I didn't say we would have to replace him. Just keep his memory intact, you know? No, I don't really know. All I know is Clace is dead. He's not coming back, and that's final. You can sugarcoat it in any way you want. That's what they call denial. He's outlived by commercial trash. I didn't mean to strike a nerve, but musicians like that tend to live on. Sometimes even after centuries pass. I don't see Clace being any different. He has fans that carry on his legacy. Come on, Devin. You got my back here, right? No one is gone if we can remember them. At least that's what I like to believe. How can you side with that? Dead is dead, and that's a fact. Legacy is not an act replacement. It'll just make the company more money. They'll milk his death for more profit. That's what happens when anyone dies. You're with me on this one, right? I like Rocker's story better. That, plus, we know that Clace is alive on Terra. Well, assumedly, because he was brought over with the ritual. I feel like a little off for being put on the spot like this, but I have to side with Rocker. It protects my personal views on the matter. I don't want to be anything but honest with these two. People are often outlived by their contributions. Clace will be immortalized in music and merch. I doubt anyone will forget this anytime soon. Shock was being far too emotional about all this. It's not a bad thing, however. He was close to Clace, so he has every right to be. Guess I should have expected that. I've always been a loner in that regard. Nobody shares my opinions anymore. You can never expect a unanimous support. Especially not in this business. People flip-flop all the time, Shock. I hope you don't think less of us, Shock. We're not teaming up with you or anything. We just happen to share an opinion. No, I never thought you were. Never expected Devin to side with me. I mean, nobody knew Clace like I did. I'm not hurt or offended. It was just the expected outcome. I just wish there was someone like me. Someone that knew the real him. Then his legacy would be honored correctly. Either way, we shouldn't waste time arguing. For once, I'm choosing to end the fight. Don't act all surprised, though. I'm a little surprised, actually. Usually fight until you're winded. I don't think Clace would approve of this. He won't want to see us fighting at all. I mean, we're on the top of honoring him, so we should think about what he'd want. He hated when we fought, after all. Fair enough, actually. If he were here, he'd stop us both, just like he usually did. Maybe that's why it went on so long. He wasn't here to get in the way. I guess he did keep us in line, especially during our most popular fight. Like, who's Clace's lead guitarist was. I know, right? It's pretty clear that it's me. Hey, that's not true. I laughed softly and turned away. It wasn't long until they act as if I'm not there. It seems to be cyclical with the two of them, arguing, making up, and arguing again. It's almost like a sibling dynamic. It wasn't about take sides in the current fight. They're both extremely talented guitarists. It was like arguing was going in their way of showing affecting. If they hated each other, they wouldn't hang out. They clearly found some sort of enjoyment in this. Perhaps I'll get to learn more about them after. At least I'll have to split them up first. I don't think I'll get anything out of them both. They get caught up in some sort of fight first. Yep, go ahead and save again, just because. Okay. Alright, let me go ahead and check this thingy here. I am not logged in. You must create a password. No thank you, I'm going to do that later. Yep, I'm gonna have to actually create an account and stuff on there, and I'm not gonna do it during the stream. Sorry. Walk back to the center of the room and look around. It appears to everyone anxious and restless. It must have been a long night for them all. The answers are so close, so we all hold out together. I scan the room a few times over. An eerie silence fills the area. I feel like perhaps I should break it. But before I can do anything, the large doors open. Someone walks out and exchanges glances with anyone. This must be Singe in the conference room entrance. Thank you all for coming here today. Even though we've all had no sleep, I'm honored that you chose to be here. He bows to us, much like Rocker. In a few minutes, the press will come. The doors will be unlocked for everyone. I'd be honored if you came in first. I'd like for us all to be on stage. I want us to appear united in this crisis. As a team, with nothing between us. If we endured a tragedy, we need to show the world our strength. We are a family, even in grief. Our public image is very important now. We must remain as resolute as possible. We can't have anything falter today. Please come and take your seats with me. We will begin as soon as the room fills up. He bows again and goes back to the conference hall. And a moment later, we all start to follow him. Unsure of what the conference has in store, and unsure of what shocking truths await the world. Yeah, it's probably for privacy reasons, plus they want to make sure that that's one way to make people join and improve their site, by making people subscribe or log in to actually view profiles. The morning after the tavern incident, Lord Player, I'm sorry, this is a lot to take in. Would you mind starting from the beginning? I haven't had my morning coffee just yet. My mind is cloudy, to say the least. You're not the only one who is taken aback. These events shocked me as well, my lord. I apologize for keeping my agenda hidden. You would have never endorsed my actions, even if they were for the greater good. So I had to take things into my own hands. Of course. And I still don't believe it. Endymion and Conrad are my trusted allies. I laugh at the notion of their betrayal. I never dedicate resources to that. Yet, here we are in the present. You have evidence backing your claim. Of course, I always validate my word. Last night I ventured to the tavern, and Demi and Conrad there as well. They had someone with them, an immigrant from another world. One they will not be given to you. In fact, they were bringing him to Velasquez. This directly violates your truce. Were they not to bring everyone to you? You're keeping tabs on immigration. Yes, that was the plan, Riley. All of it should go through me. Easier to keep track of that way. Is there a chance you misheard things? Perhaps they use Velasquez as a cover, just in case anyone overheard. Impossible, they fired the paperwork. This immigrant is now fully sanctioned. They violated the truce, my lord. Indeed, it is irrefutable proof. It is impossible for me to work like that. The immigrant is now in the records. But I wonder, what does Velasquez want? Of all people, he wants an immigrant? They must be quite an important person. Of that I am unsure. But I feel like it's irrelevant. No explanation can excuse betrayal. And you know Velasquez's stance on that. He's too friendly to these off-worlders. And I'm glad I was able to open your eyes. You're right, and I appreciate that. But now my curiosity is affecting me. Just who could this immigrant be? My two main allies would betray me, and the king wants to see them personally. There might be more here than meets the eye. Again, I'm not sure. But you could ask them yourself. I did what you wanted, my lord. I took action after seeing this betrayal. It was either that or let them win. I paid this off-worlder a visit. One thing led to another, however. They ended up passing out. It was unfortunate, of course, but an opportunity presented itself. I took them. They're in our prison. Along with the other immigrants. What? Roddy, how could you be so foolish? I can't believe what you're telling me. Do you realize what you've done? You've abducted a legal immigrant. One that was wanted by the king. Velasquez will have us under scrutiny. You keep coming to me with these revelations. First it was Kidden working for Riley, then you go to us and do this. We'll have two assassins target us. On the pressure of a royal mission, too, and everything was going good for once. I can't believe you would do this. Discretion was our greatest ally, Riley. 2 guilds will soon be upon us. Please, Lord Player, I can explain. There must have been a lapse in your judgment? Trust me, this is far worse than a lapse. If I didn't trust you, you'd almost think... Player stops in the middle of his sentence. At that point he comes to a shocking realization. You wanted me to get caught. We all file into the conference room one by one. Everyone brings their sense of anxiety with them. It isn't long until I reach the stage area. It's lined with enough seats to fit us all. We stare onwards at the empty room before us. Soon it'll be filled with those who seek answers, fans, press, and anybody in between. But there is a common goal among them, enlightenment. I sit on the far right with Kari to my left. Then there's Acheron, Shin, Shock, and Rocker. A woman with long yellow hair is there, that'd be Daz. Anomi sits beside her with Rook to his left. And it seems that everybody's here except for Jade. But when the doors open, people spill in. Sure enough, she's among the press and citizens. Seems like Acheron and Singe are getting along. They're lost in conversation amongst themselves. I would have started the conference long ago, but Singe is probably waiting for latecomers. After a while, he picks up the microphone. It appears that every seat on the stage has their own. I will be expected to talk during this. The moment Singe speaks, the crowd becomes silent. I'd like to... He cuts himself off. There's extreme feedback coming from the mic. Some in the audience cover their ears. I'd like to thank all of you for coming. I know it's early, but this has to be done. The longer the wait, the means more restlessness. And that means filling in the blanks. I've called you here to be fully open. Something has hurt us profoundly. We'll carry it with us forever. It'll scar us for years to come. So please be respectful. There'll be no flash photography today, or recording of any videos for that matter. However, audio recording is an exception. I understand some of you need notes, especially the audit members of the press. But this is as far as we can go. With that said, I will now begin. I'll relay this news with a heavy heart. Last night our own idol passed away. At midnight, Clace was murdered. Audience starts talking amongst themselves. I see several people scribbling down on notepads. The cause of death was asphyxiation, but it was under mysterious circumstances, and implied suicide, but that can't be true. Clace was not the type to do this, especially so close to the tour's launch. It is an impossibility, please disregard it. With that said, I will take questions. Please remain considerate today. Remember, we are in a state of grief. Send, sir. I have a question if you're willing. By all means, Fukumoto. Feel free to ask whatever you'd like. You mentioned the method of death, asphyxiation under mysterious circumstances. Exactly how is asphyxiation mysterious? The lack of oxygen is not mysterious. I'm afraid I'm a little confused. The person in the audience starts nodding in agreement, as if this is a question in all their minds. You are correct, and I'm glad you asked. I hope you are asked the same to the police. They hastily ran these as suicides. Clace had markings around his neck, they imply the use of a noose. But there is no noose at the scene. Well then, that is definitely odd. Thank you for answering my question. Fukumoto returns to his seat. I'm surprised he didn't twist any Sinja's words. This is why the official ruling is odd. The lack of evidence is very suspicious. It implies several possibilities. The body may have been moved post-mortem, or the culprit may have made off with the evidence. Both point to the same shocking truth. These were murders, plain and simple. The affected families deserve the truth. Why were our loved ones taken from us, and who committed these egregious crimes? I stand here today speaking for the many, those who lost their husbands, their wives, even their children and siblings. The police must reinvestigate this case. They cannot give up so easily, and they will have my full cooperation. And there's one thing I want to accomplish. This case will be closed before we leave. We will return to America enlightened. And to that end, I will move on to the subject of our world tour, and precisely what will happen next. I am proud to announce that we will continue. The world tour will go on as planned. The audience burst into conversation again. It seems they weren't expecting this announcement. We will do what Clace would have wanted. Instead of backing down, we persevere. Daz will head the tour in his place. She has graciously agreed to this burden. I cannot thank her enough. Surely it is a monumental undertaking. Mentions to the woman with yellow hair. Oh, interesting, so that's who she was. The launch will turn into a memorial, not just for Clace, but for everyone. Every person affected by these deaths. The seriousness of his hits will be reformed. But Daz will sing some new songs as well. Shaka Rocker will stay to help out. As we are family, we will honor the lost. As well as launch Daz's new career. Trust me, she is very talented. Though it's definitely a lot to take in. I guess they have a steady supply of idols. She must be talented to follow in Clace's shadow. I will open for questions one more time. This will be my last question, Singe, but I'm asking this as a friend. Are you worried for the safety of Daz? And of the Lucky too? What if this culprit strikes again? What precautions have you taken? Actually, I'm not worried about this at all. There's no evidence of us being targeted, but there is a little more to explain. In fact, I have one last announcement, and I have full clearance to reveal this. Please do not assume I am leaking any info. But have a seat while I continue. Very well. Now, this information is known only to me. I haven't revealed it to anybody. Not even those involved in the tour. What could it be? Notice Acheron shifts uncomfortably in his seat. Looks like he's annoyed at hearing this. I'll be keeping everyone in here. I won't allow them to leave this building. But this is for a very specific reason. And it involves Armstrong Incorporated. Wait, he's keeping us in here? What does that have to do with Armstrong? Acheron's ears perk up. He looks very angry. I know mentioning Armstrong piqued curiosity. Her arrival in Tokyo is quite mysterious. But today we will reveal the truth. She gave me an offer when she arrived, and I wanted protection for everybody here, both by hired guards and technology. This is the sole reason she's in Tokyo. She offered us the best of her services. We are safe now, by so many means. It was all our doing. Unfortunately, we couldn't protect Clace. I feel somewhat at fault for his death. I caved under some pressure. I initially had him on a tight leash. I didn't want him getting into trouble, but people said I was being too harsh. I decided to give him some freedom, and then, look what it caused. I should have stuck to my gut feeling. I remember hearing something about that yesterday. That Clace was being kept on a really tight leash. They said it was because the public scared of him, because the deaths started as soon as he arrived. I can see now that that was not the real reason. Singe was just trying to keep him safe from harm. I'm ashamed for not realizing that sooner. The explanations I heard earlier must have been lies. I don't think the public was scared of Clace at all. It seems that Singe was scared all along. I apologize for getting off track back there, but it was my answer to your question. And that's why I'm not worrying anymore. This time, I'll keep the leash tight. Nobody will be allowed to leave on my watch. We'll be under constant surveillance. Further harm will be impossible. Everyone will now be protected. This time I will stick to my instinct. I will trust in the guard that I have hired. And I will trust in Armstrong Incorporated. Acheron jumps out of his chair hearing this. I can hear loud growls coming from his mouth. He's fuming, unable to contain his anger. He must have been holding this in for a while. Singe, are you insane? What? Singe is definitely surprised at this interjection. The audience is as well, and they watch in fright. Explain yourself at once, Acheron. Think about what you're saying. You want to keep everybody inside? After you've lined the place with weapons? You've turned us all into sitting ducks. Armstrong's weapons can be hacked. They're not as foolproof as you think. Real manpower can never be replicated. You can't be serious about this, Singe. Everyone important to Clace is in here, and now they're surrounded by weapons. How can you be so foolish? Acheron pushes Singe back against the wall. He holds him in place by his white coat. But Singe remains calm and collected. The audience gasps, watching in awe. Of course, I read your psych evaluation. A seething hatred for Maxine Armstrong. I should have expected this outburst. Acheron, I advise you back down. You're only compromising your position. If I fire you, then she wins, right? Compromise, you say? You're the one compromising everything. You just told the world how to kill us all. Hack some weapons, set them off. We all need to evacuate immediately. Think logically, Acheron. These weapons are extremely high-tech. They can't be hacked as easily as you think. They need authorization codes to set off. Only myself and Maxine know these codes. We both desire protection, Acheron. I will only use them if we are in danger. You believe I didn't think this through, but I'm not as stupid as you think. I know exactly what I'm doing here. These weapons are our last resort, in case your expertise fell through. And it looks like I might be starting to. I suggest that you let go of me. Return to your seat immediately, Acheron. You're only making a fool of yourself. Hey, you don't understand like I do, Singe. Weapons cannot keep people safe. People are supposed to keep each other safe. You seem to be very worried, Acheron. You're scared of an infinitely small thing. A thing with almost impossible chances. Why do you hate Armstrong so much? What did they take away from you? Acheron releases a grip, but not calmly. Lets out a sharp growl in Singe's direction. And then he returns to his seat with a look of shame. Singe dusts off his lab coat with his hands, as if the altercation made him dirty. I'm terribly sorry for that, folks. As you can see, we're all under duress. Hey, give me one moment, guys. No, it didn't freeze. I had to go and deal with something upstairs. I'm terribly sorry for all that, folks. As you can see, we're all under duress. Part of why we said no photography. We're not ready for the spotlight just yet, and I hope you can understand what I'm saying. Refrain from reporting that incident. The audience nods in compliance. But please report everything else, including the involvement of Armstrong. We thought it was just the right time to know. She's here to protect, not to harm. This building is armed and ready, but not all the weapons are lethal. We have a non-lethal means as well. So this place is far from a death trap. We will not use the lethal weapons. That is, unless my hand is forced. We are protected in many, many ways. Both myself and Maxine share goals, and we want everybody inside to stay alive. Thank you all for coming. Please leave of your own accord. Singe bows to the audience and returns to his seat. We start to file out of the room. This is a lot to take in. I don't really know how I should feel. I mean, am I a prisoner here now? Am I not allowed to leave? That's not really cool at all. We're surrounded by weapons? That does make me feel a little uneasy, but Singe was certain that they couldn't be hacked or set off. Acheron had been extremely smart and knowledgeable. Was this outburst incorrect to Singe that on, or were there potentially all dangerous situation? I'll take a deep breath and try to relax. By the time I'm calm, the room is empty, save for those who are involved with the tour. After a few moments, Singe turns to me. This is the first time he's addressed me directly. Well, he tries to address Kyla as well, but it seems like he's lost in thought again. Well, that was a rather eventful conference. Never a shortage of quality entertainment. He smiled at us, seeming a lot more calm. Or perhaps it's like he's less professional. I guess you relax a little after a speech like that. Being professional all the time can get tiring fast. So sorry about meeting like this. The circumstances are less than ideal. I was really looking forward to this. So you're the leader then? The one in charge of all this? I guess you could say that. But delegation is my expertise. That's why I have people like Rook and Jade. I could never do this all by myself. I cave under the pressure pretty quick. Managerial duties are less than forgiving. I have to ask, why lock us up? Do you really think that's a good idea? At first I thought it was. Now I feel like it won't be easy. At least not where Asheron is here. Are you going to get rid of him then? No, of course not. He's acclaimed the entire world over. There's no better candidate for this. Whether we agree with each other, though, it doesn't matter. He'll get the job done. He never risks his flawed resume. But I'd love to talk more personally. Would you two stop by my office? It's better with less prying ears. We have much to discuss together, and I'm sure you have many questions. I definitely do, like... Not here, Kyla, but we'll happily answer them in my office. As for your reference, it's room 2A. Kyla nods, I do as well. It's definitely cool to be talking to the ringleader. I feel like he'd be able to answer all our questions. There was more going behind the scenes as well, for sure. But I wonder, would he be sending us home, or would he just tour with Daz instead? Gives us another smile before walking away. Well, I guess I know where we're going, but I still have some stuff to think out. Meet me in front of 2A when you're ready. Kyla walks away and exits the room. Everyone else must have left while we were talking, because now the room is completely empty. I wonder what's bothering him so much. He's taken an interesting turn in the last little bit. I think he said something about this past. He seemed uncool with getting involved in the media. Perhaps that's what he wanted to talk to Singe about. I sat down from the stage to see someone was there. I could have sworn the room was empty just a moment ago. But it's a familiar face, so I go on and greet them. Hey, it's Claire! What's she doing here? Well, I hope you didn't see me. Hi, Devin. What is she doing with a mug and service stuff in a hotel conference room? That makes no sense at all. Hi, Devin. Her soldiers are slouched down, her posture poor. She seems to be an odd combination of scared and sad. But I know who she was talking about, it was Rook. I asked her what she's doing here. Well, I heard about what happened last night. I rushed over from work as soon as I could. That explains why she's still holding her stuff. Well, okay. But I didn't hear about Clace. I actually came for Rook, you know? I actually wanted to see how he's holding up. Wow, it sounds kind of rude, doesn't it? I mean, I definitely care about Clace, but I needed to see Rook. Does that make me a bad person? I mean, everyone else came here for Clace. But here I am, only caring about Rook. You're not a bad person. Of course she's not a bad person. That's just like throwing a stone into a pond. It causes ripples and waves in lots of places. It's a powerful force. And she was not in the wrong. She does have a soft smile when I say this to her. Sorry if I put you on the spot. I guess I just needed some sort of feedback. Rook handles this stuff quite differently. I mean, I did tell you a little bit, so I'm hoping you understand my position. I don't really want him... Didn't want him reacting the same way. Singe's organization needs Rook. Just like the cafe chat needed Rook. When he's gone, things get chaotic. I just wanted to see his face. That expression could say a lot, you know. I wasn't expecting him to notice me. I just wanted to take a look, that's all. For some reason, I thought it'd help. But I was wrong. It didn't help. I just made things more confusing. His face looked the same as always. I call it something like cold steel. Something that says stay away from me. In fact, it looked like he was unfazed. But that couldn't be right, could it? I was worried about what he might do. She did take care about Rook a whole lot, I'll admit. But I start to wonder if maybe it was too much. From my understanding, they've been out of contact. So then, why was she always talking about him? He barely talks about her, which makes it weird. She's a little obsessed? Sorry for rambling on, Devin. I didn't want the dish to singe. Everyone needs to stick together here. You don't need to lose another person. Things are hard enough as it is. And as I said, Rook is important. Either way, I'm glad I ran into you. It was nice to talk about things again. But yeah, I still owe you something. But this time, you have my word. I won't stop until you're satisfied. Oh, one more thing before I go. I wanted to ask you something about this. Do you think people can make up, rebuild broken bridges? Or do you think it's a lost cause? You seem like a smart person, Devin. Am I being reasonable or emotional? I think it's definitely possible. People disconnect and reconnect all the time. Of course, it is largely dependent on the disconnect. If it was a sour departure, it might not be possible. But for two people who are once so close, I would say it's definitely possible. Thank you, that's good to hear. I was just thinking it could be in my head. Perhaps it was just a pipe dream. Good to know that it was not just me. Perhaps I'll come back when things settle, and perhaps I'll reconnect with Rook. Well, I guess I'll better get going. I'm sure you have important stuff to do, contests to win, stuff like that. I'll see you around, Mr. Lucky. She slowly walks away. There's something in the way she moves. It's like she's happy, more so than yesterday. I should tell Kyla that we might go back to Cafe Chat. He'd probably enjoy hearing that. Would I save your game? Yes. Okay. I am an hour in, so I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I know we're still at chapter 4, but all this reading is getting me a little bit winded and tired, and I need to rest a little bit. I might switch over to Persona for a little bit here, even though I've been doing that quite a bit lately. That is a very long game. So from there, I am going to go ahead and hop off of here. Thank you, Hector, for coming and watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next episode.